Have you ever wondered what a bird strike is and how it impacts aviation safety? A bird strike, in its simplest definition, is a collision between a bird and an aircraft during any phase of flight. It might sound trivial, but even the smallest of birds can pose a significant danger to aviation, especially during takeoff or landing. The size of the bird or the speed of the aircraft doesn't matter. These incidents can occur at any phase of flight, be it during takeoff, cruising, or landing. The potential for damage and danger is always present, making bird strikes a significant concern in aviation industry. But you might be wondering, so how often do these bird strikes actually happen? If you find this video informative, please like, subscribe, and share our video. Don't forget to press the bell icon for the latest updates. Bird strikes are more common than you might think. Now let's delve a bit deeper into the frequency of these incidents. According to data from the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, bird strikes are far from a rare occurrence. In the year 2019 alone, there were over 17,000 wildlife strikes recorded. That's quite a significant number, isn't it? Now let's consider a more specific example. Let's take a look at New York airports. In just 1 year, from the first day of 2021 to the first day of 2022, these airports reported a whopping 493 bird strike incidents. That's more than one incident per day. Now you might be wondering when these bird strikes are most likely to occur. Well, the vast majority of bird strikes happen during daylight hours. This is likely because that's when birds are most active, out and about searching for food. In terms of flight phases, bird strikes are most common during the takeoff and landing stages. This is because these stages often occur at lower altitudes, where birds are more likely to be flying. It's also worth noting that the location of the airport plays a role in the frequency of bird strikes. Airports situated near bodies of water or wildlife habitats are more prone to bird strikes due to the higher bird population in these areas. So, as we can see, bird strikes are not exactly a rarity in the world of aviation. They happen more frequently than many of us realize and can occur at any time during a flight, although they are most common during takeoff and landing in daylight hours. With such frequency, what exactly are the dangers involved? While the majority of bird strikes do not result in significant damage, they can present a serious risk. Now, it's critical to understand that bird strikes aren't just about a few feathers and a bit of cleanup. They can cause substantial damage, particularly when large birds are involved. Picture this. A massive bird collides with the engine of an aircraft. The impact could potentially damage critical components, such as the jet engines, propellers, flight control surfaces, or even the cockpit glass. The sudden loss of engine power or control can put the aircraft in a precarious situation, especially during crucial phases of flight like takeoff or landing. Now let's talk numbers. While bird strikes are common, the number of times they lead to severe outcomes is relatively low. However, low doesn't mean non-existent. Over a 31-year period, wildlife strikes, which include bird strikes, have accounted for nearly 300 fatalities worldwide. This statistic is a stark reminder of the genuine risk bird strikes pose to aviation safety. Bird behavior is a significant factor in these incidents. Birds are unpredictable creatures, and their flight paths can intersect with aircraft routes, especially near airports located close to natural habitats. The risk is particularly high during migratory seasons when large flocks of birds are on the move. Now let's talk about the real heavyweights of the sky. Large birds like vultures and geese. These birds pose a significant threat due to their size and weight. A collision with such a bird can result in more severe damage to an aircraft compared to smaller species. So, while most bird strikes may not lead to a Hollywood-style explosion, they do present genuine challenges to aircraft and their pilots. The potential for damage, coupled with the unpredictability of bird behavior, makes bird strikes a serious concern in aviation safety. Throughout aviation history, there have been some notable incidents involving bird strikes. These incidents serve as reminders of the potential dangers and the importance of continuous efforts in mitigating these risks. But more on that in the next scene. Some bird strike incidents have made headlines around the world. Let's take a look at some of the most notable instances. In 2009, an incident that reverberated across the globe involved U.S. Airways Flight 1549. This flight is also popularly known as the Miracle on the Hudson, Shortly after takeoff from New York City, the aircraft collided with a flock of Canada geese. This collision led to both engines being disabled. But thanks to the quick thinking and expert piloting by Captain Chesley "Sully" Sullenberger, the plane was successfully ditched in the Hudson River. Miraculously, everyone on board survived this harrowing incident. Another notable bird strike incident happened a year earlier, in 2008. Ryanair Flight 4102 was preparing to land in Rome when it encountered a flock of starlings. The resulting multiple bird strikes caused significant damage to the aircraft. Despite this, the plane managed to land safely. However, the financial toll was substantial, with damages amounting to over €1 million. These incidents underscore the potential severity of bird strikes. It's important to note that while bird strikes are relatively common, instances of them causing significant damage or danger are rare, thanks to the robust design of modern aircraft and the skill of pilots. However, the risk is real, and these incidents serve as stark reminders of the potential consequences. With such incidents in mind, what is being done to mitigate the risk of bird strikes? Efforts to prevent bird strikes are ongoing and involve various strategies. It's a complex issue, but airports and regulatory bodies like the International Civil Aviation Organization and the Federal Aviation Administration are taking it head-on. One of the key strategies is managing wildlife habitats around airports. This involves controlling the population of birds and other wildlife that could pose a threat to aircraft. This can be as simple as keeping grass cut short to discourage nesting, or as complex as relocating entire species to safer locations. Radar systems are another crucial tool in the fight against bird strikes. These systems can detect flocks of birds and give aircraft enough warning to adjust their flight paths and avoid potential collisions. It's a bit like having a high-tech birdwatcher on duty around the clock. But it's not just about technology. Sometimes the best solution is a good old-fashioned scare. Airports employ various bird-scaring tactics to keep our feathered friends at a safe distance. These can range from visual deterrents like scarecrows and decoys, to audio tactics like playing distress calls of certain bird species. Of course, aircraft are also designed and tested to withstand bird strikes. From reinforced windshields to engine designs that can continue operating after a bird strike, the aviation industry has made great strides in ensuring the safety of passengers and crew. However, it's important to remember that these are all measures to mitigate the risk, not eliminate it entirely. Despite robust safety measures, bird strikes do occur, and when they do, they can be dangerous. That's why the industry is always looking for new ways to improve safety and reduce the risk of bird strikes. Despite these efforts, bird strikes remain a rare but serious threat to aviation safety. Bird strikes, while not uncommon, are usually not dangerous due to aircraft resilience and risk mitigation strategies. As we've learned, a bird strike is a collision between a bird and an aircraft, and it can happen during any phase of flight. Though they occur relatively frequently, with over 17,000 wildlife strikes recorded in a single year, the majority of these incidents do not inflict significant damage to the aircraft. However, the potential for serious consequences cannot be overlooked. Notable incidents like US Airways Flight 1549 and Ryanair Flight 4102 remind us of the dangers these events can pose. But it's reassuring to know that airports and regulatory bodies are actively working to mitigate these risks. They employ strategies such as managing wildlife habitats around airports, using radar systems to detect bird flocks, and even employing bird-scaring tactics. In the end, bird strikes are a part of aviation that requires vigilance and ongoing efforts to ensure safety. So, whether you're a pilot, an aviation enthusiast, or an everyday traveler, it's important to stay informed about potential risks and the measures being taken to keep our skies safe. Stay safe, stay informed, and keep your eyes on the skies.